I have flown all the way to America to answer one question. Is retro video game hunting even possible here? I've come all the way to Greenville in North Carolina, pretty much only known for agriculture, education, and Mr. Beast. Usually all of the cool stuff that I make videos on comes from Japan, and I was actually there earlier this year and the selection was insane. But that got me wondering, how hard would it be to find cool retro gaming tech in the middle of nowhere America? And so it begins. The first stop on our list is Trade It. It only seems to exist in North Carolina, but it's probably just like every other pawn shop ever. So let's go check it out. So while Trade It was mostly lawnmowers, air conditioning units, and power tools, Trade It surprised me. 2 Asus ROGs and a Steam Deck, a couple of PlayStations, a few controllers, some decent PlayStation 2 games and accessories, and look at these, a Game Boy Advance and a Nintendo DSi. Is Trade It really good? I was not expecting that. Oh, $100 for a DSi? $80 for a Game Boy Advance? Actually, that's not too bad. I think it's fair to say this is a pretty cool selection to have available in a local shop. Sure, the prices are maybe a little bit high and there's nothing here which is really insane, but I'm sure there's a constant feed of stuff coming into this shop. I also spoke to the guy behind the checkout and he said that everything comes with a warranty, where they can send things off to be repaired, refund or exchange within a set period of time, obviously. There was a bunch of retro games, but mainly sports titles. For the Game Boy and DS, there was actually quite a lot of cool stuff. And if this was just the stuff they had out on display, I just had to know the kind of stuff they might have locked up behind the checkout. Look at the game selection they had. And this is just the first store that I went to. Maybe retro hunting in America isn't going to be so hard. I picked up some really cool stuff from Trade It, so my hopes were really high for the next place. And that place is Goodwill. I have never been to a Goodwill. They seem to be all over the place, and I've seen lots of other YouTubers find some pretty sweet stuff. So let's see what I find. Besides a bunch of clothes, some kitchenware stuff, internet routers, and a waffle iron, there was not a lot here. And by not a lot, I mean nothing. Obviously, places like Goodwill aren't going to have a stock of good things available. It's probably really going to depend on when you go and if you just get lucky. But what about a place in the middle of America where there is a guaranteed stock of retro gaming tech? Well, I found a place called WellPlayed Games. Okay, wait, what? This place is nuts. There was too many people in there to film. They asked me to stop recording. They told me to come back the next day where it was going to be a little bit less busy. I did end up picking up a few games from there, which I'm really excited about. But let's go back and check this place out properly. Okay, take 2, back again the next day. Let's check this place out. WellPlayed Games was sick. It was really clean and laid out very well. It felt like a really fun, upbeat environment to be in. Plenty of cool machines, old and new. They even had a kitchen which served food. As for video games, well, they had a really decent selection. They also had a good few machines too. I'm curious to know the prices of these. They had Shrek's Fairy Tale Breakdown, which is an absolute classic, and some others like this Inspector Gadget one that I've never seen before. There was a huge variety of fun Nintendo DS games. DS isn't super retro yet, so besides the obvious Mario, Zelda and Pokemon titles, there's plenty of fun to be had on lots of very inexpensive games. They had this enormous wall of games and some really neat boxed consoles for sale above it. Plenty of PlayStation 2 titles and some Genesis games, as well as a bunch of DS games. They even had a boxed paper Mario for the N64, and some other much rarer stuff in the cabinet. As well as that, they had a good selection of accessories and various other bits and bobs. Do you know what the prices are on the Game Boys?
So the SSP is at the second about £195.
How much is the DSi?
DSi is £119.95.
$119.95. Nice one, thank you.
So while the prices were a little bit high, you can kind of understand that there is going to be a premium for going into a store and having a selection of stuff available. And the prices, although the Game Boys were insanely expensive and all of the handheld consoles were, to be fair, the games were pretty much in line with what you'd expect to see on eBay. But yeah, there was something off with the prices of those Game Boys. $150 for a Game Boy Advance SP. Interestingly, backtracking a little bit, I went back to trade it just randomly with some friends, and there was a Game Boy Color there for like $60. So it is possible that there are prices in areas like this in America where they're just affordable and reasonable. Also, side note, can anyone tell me why this Big Bass game has Big Black Bass just upside down in a box on the Game Boy cartridge?
Overall, I think this place is great. Really good selection of games. I've managed to find on Facebook Marketplace someone selling some Game Boy games for $20. So we're gonna go and get those. I've been keeping an eye out on Facebook Marketplace, and while most of the listings on here are pretty damn expensive, some of which are even fake, look at this Pokemon Game Boy. This is an aftermarket box and shell, so there's no wonder they took this photo on a potato so that no one could look too closely. That being said, I did find a listing for a job lot of games for only $20, which looked great. It even had a copy of Super Mario Advance. This, I had to buy. I am really happy with everything that I've bought so far. Let's take a look at what I've bought. So the first two games that I picked up were from Trade It. I picked up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Game Boy Advance video. I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, and these Game Boy Advance video cartridges are really hard to find in the UK, so I'm very happy with this one. I paid $15 for it. I'll put up on screen the average price on eBay. I also picked up this Santa Claus 3 Game Boy Advance game. I just thought it could be cool to stream this closer to Christmas. $5 for that, no idea what it's worth. And then from the WellPlayed Games, I picked up 3 more Game Boy Advance video cartridges, all absolute classic cartoons: Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, and SpongeBob SquarePants. And they're in really, really good condition. I think I paid roughly $10 each for these. So again, I'm not sure what they're worth, but I'll put them up on the screen. And then this is the bag of games that I bought for $20, and this is just an absolute bargain. Firstly, there's another Game Boy Advance video cartridge, All Grown Up, Volume 1. Again, in really, really good condition, probably because once people had watched the episodes on here once, they were probably not going to do that again too often, but they're all in really good condition and I absolutely love them. So there's a couple of really good games in here. Firstly, we've got these 2 Crash games. We've got Nitro Kart and Huge Adventure. I'm not sure if they're any good, but obviously Crash is a huge franchise. And then we've got some other things, mostly kind of shovelware stuff. We've got Duel Masters, Lizzie McGuire, Secret Agent, Barbie, that's kind of funny, Nicktoons, Freeze Frame Frenzy, and we've got SpongeBob Battle of Bikini Bottom, a Cartoon Network game here, Finding Nemo, Polly and Super Splash Island, Unfabulous, and then lastly, the Super Mario Advance cartridge. Now, unfortunately, this is aftermarket, and that was actually made clear in the listing, so this was something that I was expecting, but it's still probably gonna work absolutely fine, and for $20, you just can't really complain. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This series is gonna be a lot of fun, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.